town outside of the actual keep. When things finally settled, the death toll was counted, and victory was the party. So huzzah! The party had won. It did come at a cost, though. There were a good number of commoners that had lost, and Rye had not only been defeated in combat and somehow survived, but Rye actually fell ill. She was very, very sick, and for a while there, it looked as though she wouldn't even pull through. She was rather, whether it be a disease or whatever, she looked as though she wouldn't pull through, but the Lord had sent his own physician to keep an eye on her and sent word out to Fassant to have a bunch more physicians brought in to care for her. In the meanwhile, that all happened. There was much gratitude that went by way of the party, and the Lord had said, given whatever rewards he could. And they finally went out to meet with Forston, which Forston was still in the custody of the Seven Swords. So the party then went on to meet with Forston's actual boss, the person they've been working for the whole time. They finally had an opportunity to meet him. And it came in the form of an early 20s looking human male by the name of Ashram. He is the children of Lady and Lord Alethra and Pavel Calvos. So it'd be Ashram Calvos. He was an interesting character. I think Thonk and him made best buddies.
Yeah, really good friends.
Yeah, really good friends. And,
I tried to clock him. It didn't work.
No, but that's because Gromin saved the day, because Gromin and him actually are best buddies. Yeah, of course. He paid all of you as he paid everybody that needed the payments, and requested one more assistance, to which the party did agree to do. They the last thing was to capture or kill actually Zara. What's his name again? Zaris. So Zavris. So he was the one that had led up the bank robbery from before, and he was captured, but somehow was able to elude capture. So now it's finished the job by ending him. You would end the complete hold of the Shadow Lords in the city. And he did say that this would leave like a bit of a gap of power in the city, and that he intends to fill up that gap and take that spot. But obviously there would be benefit to you guys, having been people that are willing to aid him. He would be looking to be like a benefactor, or whatever the case may be, moving forward for you. So it would be beneficial to you guys. Much deliberation, you agreed to do it. You head back to the keep to go check on Rye, and that is where we're actually picking up, is back at the keep to check in and see how Rye is doing. You do hear that she is still not doing well inside of her bed, but that the person that you captured with a broken leg and a broken jaw, thank you, Thonk, that had originally defeated Rye, they are starting to come to. This is what you're walking into the keep to. So whether or not you choose to check on her is up to you, but that is what you had heard when you picked up. So any questions or anything before we head right upstairs and get jumping into the role play?
Not on my end.
Oh, awesome. That was a lot to digest, Sam, but I'm pretty sure you can pick it up as you go. So anyways, you guys are back at the keep and you're heading to room A or room B. Are you going to see...
Right, I would opt for Rye's room. The other guy's not going anywhere.
Yeah, I thought we were gonna go check on Ryan whenever she's well, bring her with.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Sure. So you guys go to check on Rye, and the door's shut. So knock knock. There's no response. And when you go to crack the door open a little bit, you look and see that she's still lying in her bed, and she's tossing and turning a little bit. Maybe she's awake, maybe she's down. Maybe she's awake, maybe she's down. You can always go to approach.
I won't approach. I'll stay just on the inside of the door, near the wall, and let Otto and Gromin in, obviously, and see. I'm not going to be the one that approaches her.
Otto will approach.
Yeah, I think Otto would go first.
Mm-hmm.
Sure. So Otto goes up to approach her, like, Rye, how you doing, buddy? And you can tell almost immediately that she still seems to be in this state of delirium. She still seems to be, to not be doing well. So, the toss and the turning, the sweat pouring from her, the heat obviously radiating off of her.
I go to reach to touch her again, but then rethink it, remembering what had happened last time. And I just say, Rye, you hear me, buddy?
Grauman's gonna walk up behind you, and as you're whispering, he's gonna get closer. Is she better?
I don't know yet.
She doesn't respond. She's still tossing and turning and kind of groaning a little bit. She doesn't seem to be doing very well.
I don't think I have any ability to cure diseases yet, unfortunately.
No, I think you have the ability to spread diseases, right?
No, I don't have that either.
Well, you should.
Not yet. Maybe later, but not yet.
That's your domain, right? Pestilence?
Yeah.
No? Or is that just orc breath?
That's that too. So she's clearly giving no signs, and you two are standing over her. Thonk will just suggest that we return, give her the day and night, and return in the morning.
Otto nods and
If she's not able to get out of bed by tomorrow, then we leave without her because we're on a time constraint.
So you guys are back at the keep, and you have free reign of it. I know that you didn't want to go and speak with that other person unless you had Rye with you.
Correct.
Unless that wasn't an option, correct?
What do you mean, unless that wasn't an option?
Meaning Rye was either not going to get better or she was going to die.
Yes, that is correct. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Rip Rye.
So then you're back at the keep. You have free reign of it. Unless there's anything specific you guys want to do, we can just flash forward to the next morning for you.
Works for me.
Awesome. So very early that next morning, we're actually going to pull our attention over to Sam. So Rye had been tossing and turning and sweating and not doing well for this entire time. But then all of a sudden, it's like, I mean, you're not there witnessing it, obviously, you're experiencing. All of a sudden, Rye wakes up. And when she does so, she's not feeling well. She's feeling groggy. She's dehydrated. She's weak. Her stomach is killing her. She's got a pounding migraine. She is not doing well at all. However, seemingly her fever has broken, because when you wake up to a saturated bed. I mean, this thing is just soaked through with steam coming off of it. And you're able to be aware of this. You perceive what's going on around you. It is like the just early parts of twilight coming into the morning right now, so you can of course see with your heritage. But you do look around the room, and there are a few people. There are two guards in this room that are watching over you, kind of like across the room. So as you start to come to and whatnot, one of them isn't really paying attention, but the other one kind of like notices that you're behaving a little bit differently, and so he's like kind of focusing on you. What do you do, Sam?
Rye just sits up in the bed and just like holds her head, and then just kind of like stares at the guards.
As you're sitting up, he's just kind of like, she's moving, and he kind of like, gestures towards the other guy, like, go get somebody, get the physician now. And he makes his way, like after the guy kind of storms out of the room, he makes his way over to you very gingerly, like one step at a time, and he's like, so this guard, just so you're aware, it's actually an orcish guard. It's not just any other guard. So when he was saying that stuff, my apologies, to actually kind of calling that out in orcish, like go get. That was orcish. You probably didn't understand it. But the as he's making his way over to you, he's like, you okay?
I just gives him this like, do I fucking look okay look?
he goes
like,
go ahead, sorry.
Go for it.
Oh, yeah. So he's like, oh, yeah. And he pulls out like a flask, and he like pops off the cap to it, and he hands it to you to give you like a swig of something.
I take a swig.
And it's some really strong liquor. And he's like nodding to himself like this always makes me feel better. Like, I did good, right?
I take a few more swigs.
All right, there you go. With how weak you are, lack of hydration, food, and everything, it hits you. It comes to your head immediately, and while it adds a bigger pit to your stomach, making maybe your stomach hurt more than it was before, it actually really helps to soothe your headache right now. So you take a few more swigs, each time it burning its way going down, despite the temperature that you are right now. And he's kind of like nodding like approvingly to himself, like. So he, after you like take those few more swigs, he kind of reaches out to take it back.
I just hand it back to him, but I don't make eye contact. I'm just like looking down at the bed.
So he goes to take a swig from himself, and then kind of like stops thinking and looks at it, then like wipes it and then drinks from it anyways, and takes like a nice big swig, and he's like, "They help soon." And so that with that, he kind of like will go over to your bed, and like he's actually being really nice. He goes over to your bed and he like fluffs up your pillow a little bit behind you, to, like try to make sure you're looking a little bit more comfortable. And a few minutes later, the other orc is going to open the door as the physician comes bursting in. Now, this physician you would have seen before at the time before the actual Battle of Black Hill. It would have been somebody that was around the keep because he is the family physician. He comes bursting in, and within a minute or so after that, two others would come in that you're not familiar with. Actually, that's not true. You're right. Others that you would be familiar with from over at Fasant. They are well-known physicians, and they're coming in to take care of you. So these are physicians that are well known to do a really good job. One of them, that can be bought off to do less than uppity up jobs, and the other one who cannot be, very much cannot be. But anyways, so they're coming in there, and almost immediately they're doting over you and kind of like checking things and poking and prodding. And I can imagine it gets very irritating very quickly. And then we'll do that really quickly before we get to the moment after that. So with the first physician bursting in and kind of coming up to you, the first thing he does, he goes over and puts his hand on your forehead. And he's able to hold his hand there for maybe a second before he pulls it away, and he's like, "Oh, that's hot." But you can clearly tell he's happy with the result of that. And then he goes over and just starts like checking you. Do you say anything to this man, or?
Where's he checking me?
Like he kind of goes over and like grabs your arm and sees that if it like moves. At this point, like you're wearing clothing, so it's not like he's just grabbing your flesh. So he's kind of grabs you and he's like moving your arm and seeing if you're aching, kind of like pressing on spots on your back or your chest or whatever, to just to kind of like see how
your chest dry.
He's pressing my chest.
Okay. Like in a doctor. Go on.
Yeah, I mean, I just let him. I don't really have the strength to fucking tell him to fuck off, so I just kind of lets him do his physician thing.
His physician things, yeah.
Yeah.
So, it's medieval medicine, not
Yeah, exactly.
So anyways, so again, a minute later, the other two come bursting in, and he immediately starts speaking to them, and he's like, "Oh, her temperature has dropped considerably, and she seems to be more responsive." And then like it kind of turns to you, and he starts asking you questions. He's like, "What is your name?"
Right, kind of looks at him with, "Oh, what do you mean?" She's like, you don't know it.
So he turns to the other two. He's like, "There may be a case of amnesia here. Let's just, handle this cautiously." And he says this kind of like quietly, like under his breath, but you obviously catch what he's saying.
Right.
And then he turns back to you, and he's got this very kind look on his face. It's almost patronizing, like he's looking at a child. And he gives you kind of like this nice little smile, and he's like, "Hi." He's like, "Hi there. So you have been very, very ill for the past few days, and I'm trying to make sure that you're doing okay. Can you remember what your name is? Can you remember maybe where we are or your companions?"
Right, kind of just lets out like a, "Oh boy," and then gestures to the alcohol again.
Okay, so he kind of like, "Oh," and then gets it and goes over and hands it off to you. And before it reaches your hand, the doctor's like, "What is the matter with you? She's dehydrated. She can't be having this." It's like, no, stop. He kind of like shoos it away. And the orc is just like, "Oh, okay, not good." And stops going to give it to you.
Oh, right, like looks dejected. And she's like, "Ain't you just a party pooper?"
She may be suffering through a little bit of regression. So maybe she needs something to stimulate her thoughts. Which of them was her best friends? Ada? Should we get the little one? All right. And he turns to
as his back is turned, Rye attempts to like get out of bed. She like puts her feet down on the ground.
So as soon as she goes to do that, like she can feel that her knees are like in pain, swollen a bit, and that they as she gets her feet on the ground, like the floor is so cold compared to the temperature of her body. It's like daggers going through her feet as soon as they hit down. So I imagine she's like wincing in pain as soon as she does that. But also the three physicians turn to you and like kind of go jumping at you like, slow down, it's too much. But it's not that you don't have your balance. It hurts or whatever, but you have control of yourself. So as they jump going at you, one of them just says, just get her water, get her food, get her something, and hollering at one of the orcs. And so he goes running off down the hallway to do so. But at this point in time, as they were running this way to come to you in the first place, there was enough of a ruckus that Addo and Thonk actually have the highest of the passive perception. They would have heard the ruckus happening first in their rooms and would have made their way over to where you guys are. So we can have Addo walk in first. I imagine him trying to get the closest room to her as possible, whereas Thonk would try to get the closest room to the prisoner as possible. So so Addo, you can actually come walking in as this orc goes bursting out.
Sure. Gets blown by, comes walking on in, sauntering, sees Rye. Rye! You're awake! How are you?
Rye throws him a weak salute. And groans. I've been better.
You were, well, I mean, I think you actually were on fire. And he holds up his fingers, showing her the mark that her skin left behind.
Stepping between the line of sight between the two of you is the first physician, and he says, so Rye?
Get out of the way.
And you push him to the side easily, because even though you're weak right now and in general, he's actually an older, kind of feeble person. So you push him to the side and continue.
How long was I sleeping?
Probably like a few days.
Days? I feel like shit.
Well, you kind of look like it too, but you look better now.
To that.
Rye like flashes him like a pouty smooch when he says she looks like shit. And then having realized that standing up is kind of futile, just like flops back onto the bed.
What is it? So Otto is gonna go to the physician real fast. What do you make of her?
Well, I thought she had insomnia. That's not the case. It just seems as though she's starved, dehydrated, and exhausted. So I'm fetching for food and drink right now. And actually, as he's saying this, Thonk can come walking in. He's like, I'm fetching for food and drink right now to try to get her strength back. It'll take some time for her to be to have all of her strength back, but she should be up and walking tomorrow.
How long?
A feeble thumbs up in the background from the bed.
And Thonk will, from behind the physician, just say, how long until she's battle ready?
I just think that perhaps we shouldn't even
Give
put
me
that into a time frame.
I need a time frame.
Right, how long you need?
2 days? How long do we have right now before this mission has to be finished? Because he gave us like only a few days.
We had to go in like 20 hours.
He said ASAP. He said as soon as possible because the longer time that passes, the more likely it is that they're going to have reinforcements sent to them, or word even being sent out in the first place. So you're kind of pushing for that, he turns to you and says, if I had to put a number, 2 months. And now you obviously you have dealt with injured before.
Yeah.
You know that he is being a bit ridiculous.
Yeah, no. I'll look to him, I'll look to Rye. Can you be ready to leave by morning?
The second feeble thumbs up emerges.
I'll be back later tonight. I need to speak with you later. And
Gromin comes in and he has like a tray of soup again.
Yes.
You and I'm passing you as you're walking in. I don't make eye contact.
Around and he's got this like tiny tray of soup and he's like giant orc dude. He comes in. He like sits down next to Rye and like puts the spoon up to her mouth.
Otto's excited. Ooh, what flavor did you get?
Coming in behind Gromin is actually that orc that went running out of the room because he knew to get Gromin first, as opposed to run all the way to the kitchens or get some sort of servant, because Gromin's been excited to do this. Go ahead.
I mean, Rye's into it. She fluffs the pillow up, sits up, mouth open.
Gromin makes like train noises and puts the soup in her mouth.
Yeah, this is happening.
It's happening. And he just keeps giving her more soup. And he actually offers some to Otto too. Otto's like, ooh, a
Otto's
flavor.
all about
Like
it,
the
yeah.
chicken with the noodle things.
Give it to him. He's not sick.
Oh, it's so good though.
Oh, awesome. Otto, can you make me a constitution check as you eat the off of the Z spoon?
Oh, absolutely.
Oh,
Oh, no, I'm just hey, good save though.
Yeah, I got it. See, I'm fine.
Nice.
He's like, it's so good though.
Oh, it's worth it. It's
Flavor.
worth it. The soup's terrible, but the caregiving.
Yeah, what flavor did you say it was, Gromin?
He said the chicken with the noodle things.
Tasty.
It's actually an old orc recipe. It's actual chicken, like kind of just ripped up into chunks and thrown inside there with, the noodle thing.
The noodle things are just like, little chicken limbs and
Yeah, like ligaments and
stringy
brains.
bits.
Yeah. Delish. All right, so you guys nurture Rye for a little bit. Do you want to kind of try to catch her up on what had happened recently, or you know what, you fed her a little bit, you made her feel warm or whatever, and just leave her alone and come back later on?
Oh no, I think Otto absolutely begins the epic tale of our battle, our struggle while she has been out.
Sure. Well, I think Sam is actually, aside from that quick beginning I did at the beginning there, a little ignorant. So feel free to take liberties with this there, Bear.
Oh man, well now I have the challenge of actually remembering here.
That's the hardest part of weekly D&D, man. I'm telling you.
Yeah, no kidding. Okay.
Oh.
Oh.
I usually pass it off to a PC in my
Yeah.
usual games.
You might want to, because I'm not gonna get many of the details right.
So Gromin starts, since obviously it's going to be an epic performance check. Well, there's a lady at a bar.
Wait, you want me to do a performance check?
Well, either way, I could just sum it up really quickly.
Yeah,
anyways.
you go ahead. I'm gonna butcher it.
Well, no, that's fine. So we can kind of breeze past this then. So I went through most of it as it was at the beginning anyways, but I mean, there's not much more detail other than, I don't know if Addo or Gromin would put this in there, but Addo actually at one point in time, ooh, yay. Addo at one point in time will try to cast a spell on Gromin. Gromin realized it like a minute or two later and swung at Addo.
Oh yeah, Gromin.
Oh, there was
probably-
party fighting that happened.
Swung at Thonk and hit Thonk in the face.
Yeah.
There was Thonk had fought with the person that was paying you guys this entire time. There was a huge expose from this the person that was hiring you to what was happening the whole time. It comes out that his family actually had to borrow money years ago during the war to afford the orcs to come down from the mountains, to convince the chieftains to do so, and to pay for them to be set up in the city the way they were, because they were the ones that really pushed this initiative forward. And that nearly a decade later, they thought they'd paid back this debt, emptying their coffers almost completely, just to realize they'd barely even touched the principal, if at all, because there was
Basically, they have really ridiculous student loans.
yeah, really ridiculous student loans.
And the son of the royals is like a criminal, so
Yeah, he's a criminal doing what he can to save his family's name and fortune. So he's a criminal with a cause, with a theoretically a noble cause, especially since his family's nobility.
Oh, and you probably would tell her. I don't know if you want to. Rye isn't getting any money.
So Otto can breach into the recap here real quick. And there was a little issue of your payment, in that it's not coming.
You at saying this to Rye, you hear light breathing, and you realize she fell asleep like minutes ago. She's been asleep the whole time.
Oh, awesome.
Eyes shut.
I looked at
Well,
Gromin.
we all got paid though. They said they were gonna send the money to her.
No, she's not getting paid because she stole a sword.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, the sword.
So she already helped herself to the sword of my dead cousin. She can
That's
consider
right. I forgot about the sword you stole.
that. Yeah.
We also stole a giant nugget of gold. So I'll just tell that.
That was a
Yeah, we did not bring that up. We did not bring that up. Although
Yeah.
Thonk did give Otto shit for that.
Yeah.
No one else knows about it except me and Otto.
Yeah.
Oh,
Leave it alone.
I thought I saw it too.
Did you?
I have no
like
idea.
cut. Oh no, that's right.
Either way.
And that's
so,
it.
Yeah.
You got paid the most, motherfuckers.
All right.
Listen,
So
you found that piece of gold with a 1 investigation check. I am convinced that is not real.
I forgot.
It's like
I
cursed
forget
gold
nothing.
or something.
Yeah, probably.
So, anyways, so that kind of sums up. I'm sure. Do you guys wake Rye up and tell her, or even though Sam knows now, or do we just kind of hope she doesn't realize as the adventure continues?
I look to Gromin as I realize she's asleep and telling
Oh,
her
yeah,
that. I say, I'll tell her later.
No, when you say that, I'm like, well, technically, you told her.
I don't just
Gromin working that legislature. Oh man.
Otto just smiles, winks, and nods, and leaves the room.
Oh, flash of brilliance from
I guess
Gromin.
I'm gonna grab the rest of the tray of the noodles and whatnot, and leave maybe like a glass of water next to the table and take it out.
Awesome. So the physicians now kind of going in, they switch out, they hoist her, move her out of the orcs will help, and they hoist her, move her out of the way and everything. And she's much cooler now. Switch out the bed sheets and all that. It doesn't really matter. You guys are pretty much going to leave her alone until summoned to do so. Thonk, however, has his own agenda, and he does come back that night. So the whole day goes forward. And over the course of the day, you guys can spend your time in the place looking around, doing whatever it is that you're doing. So I'm going to get to Thonk and what's her name, Ryan, in a moment. But first, let's go to Addo. Addo, finishing up what it was that you had seen before in your studies in the library there. You can kind of finish doing your studies there and learn what it is you can about the passage that you had seen last week, at the end of last week. So you kind of had gone through the area, come across a book that had interesting passages to you that explained to you information about Bardic colleges, and that was posted up onto the subreddit so that people could see what it was.
Yeah, if you want to read this, go to the subreddit because it is a little hard to read cursive, but I've got it up on screen if you want to try.
And it was translated to an easier font for everybody else to see as well. But this second one was not put up there yet. We'll put up later on today. It doesn't matter. So you did a little bit more research, and this is kind of like where your research ended and what it was that you were able to find. But beforehand, you found out about Bardic colleges. So imagine you're spending a good amount of time in there kind of reading about this stuff. Gromin, however, looking for something to do, time to kill. I imagine he goes down into the basement and gets comfortable down there. There's a few other orcs and half-orcs.
I was actually thinking that I would take the people up on getting some new armor and a weapon.
Mm-hmm. Sure, absolutely. So you go through. Sure, definitely. So you go throughout town and talk to the various peoples and whatnot. So did you have anything in mind for what kind of weapon or armor that you would want, Maggie, or armor?
Not off the top of my head, but I was just thinking upgrading his great axe and his armor.
Sure. And you're, of course, looking to continue with a great axe. You're not looking to change that by any means.
Yeah, no, he's kind of attached to it.
Absolutely. So while you're there doing everything, kind of going through the area looking for something to purchase, as you walk into the weaponsmith, I could actually do this right now. As you're walking into the weaponsmith's area, one of the owners comes up to you, and he's like a surly human man. He's probably in his mid-30s, and he comes up to you and he says, "You're Gromin, right?"
He Gromin looks behind him in case the guy's talking to somebody else, and he's like, "Yes, Gromin." He points at himself.
You're the one that fought and did everything that you did.
He kind of touches his axe a little bit and nods.
A bit uncharacteristic is you're gonna, in your snapshot judgment of this guy, very uncharacteristic of him. He actually comes over to you and gives you a hug. And it's kind of an uncomfortable moment as this human guy just comes over and wraps his arms around you, and it's pretty brief, and he ends it with the typical bro double slap on the back, and as he kind of backs away and holds your shoulder for a second, and you are solid foot taller than him, but as his hand up reaches kind of grabbing your arm, and he's like, "I just wanted to let you know from the deepest from my heart, thank you. You saved my family, and I want to try to repay that to thank you. And
it's all human if he's only a foot shorter than me.
yeah, he's like almost 6 feet tall.
Oh, nice. Gromin like takes the hug kind of awkwardly. He's like, why is this guy hugging me? And then he, when he gets the pats, Gromin like gives him like a kind of a nug like he normally does with his fist, but he hits the guy pretty hard.
He takes the hit pretty well. Like I said, he's a very well-built person. He works with steel all day and iron all day, every day. So he takes it actually better than you would expect, which probably gives you a little bit of like ooh, daps for this guy. So he says to you, there's something I'd like you to have, just as a thank you on behalf of myself, my family, and the people of this town. If I could bring you there.
Gromin's like, I like presents.
He gestures towards the back of the shop, and he brings you, through like a doorway into like a back area where you can see this is like a storeroom where he has a bunch of various things like hanging from the walls and sitting in areas on the floors and in shelves. Some of the stuff is piled up, like it looks like, failed attempts to make things or half-finished projects. And some of the things are actually really nice, like maybe like the way they're hanging on the wall. You think maybe these are things that he's like, patting himself on the back with, and he wants to hold on to, or whatever the case may be. So varying levels of looking to be garbage or of sentimental value in this back room that's clearly not a part of the typical shop for patrons to come into. And as he goes back there with you, he gestures for his apprentice to kind of like, watch the shop, boy. And he goes back there and he's explaining to you a story. He's like, when the war happened, when the horde came, I was old enough to carry in, a weapon myself. And my father was a blacksmith before me, and he actually made my weapon, and he actually made my shield, and I have those to this day. And I used them to defend the city before, and I will use it to defend the city again. But there is a friend of mine that I made during that time, a friend that I never would have made if it wasn't for the Lord and Lady of this land, the lives that you saved. And he was an orc man. His name was Gurgle. It was named after the sound his older brother made when his father disappointingly drowned him. And Gurgle fought beside me through many battles, and he was a great warrior, and we made a friendship. It was not easy at first. He broke my nose at some point, but we made friends. Anyways, I came to know him very well, and on his birthday, my father had made a weapon for him and gave it to him. And he took it as a gift because of the friendship that we had made and what we have done for each other. Later on that same day, he was killed in combat. And I won't go into the details, but it was awful. And I made sure to hold on to that axe. And I vowed that one day I would give it to somebody else that was worthy of it. And so I would like to give this to you. And he's saying this as he opening a chest, and he pulls out a great axe and he's handing it to you. And this thing is of like really good quality. He's handing you a great axe, and he says, I'd like to give this to you, this birthday present of my late friends. If you would take it as a thank you from all of us for what you did for our city. And he kind of holds it forward to you. And this thing's heavy, but this guy's built well, so he's holding it upright with his arms not wobbling, shaking, or anything.
Okay. Gromin grabs it with one hand and then kind of touches it with the other hand and kind of checks out the blade and checks out the hilt of it. And he's like, thank you. It's very kind of you. And then he kind of swings it around to see the balance of it, see how it is. How does it feel?
The craftsmanship is great. It was actually made rather ornate because of the fact that it was a gift, and the balance of it is incredible. It's better than maybe any weapon that you've ever swung before. But more important than that, this thing's practically unused. It was literally used one day in combat. So there's not even a knock on the blade itself. It's effectively a brand new axe, and I feel it's good. It's comfortable. It's balanced.
All right.
So when you take that from him, he just says, thank you for taking this gift. He's like, from his birthday to you. And and then he like kind of like gestures for you to head back to the front of the shop. And with that, just kind of like after that couple awkward moments of silence, he then breaks the silence saying, so you came in here for a reason. What is it I can help you with?
Gromin like chuckles and he's like, well, seems you already helped me with it. I came to get a new weapon.
And that's what you received. And with that, he's like, if you ever need anything else again, you come and see me, and I'll make sure that you never get screwed over in my shop.
Gromin doesn't know what to do because he's not sure. Like, I guess I kind of know. I guess like I put my hand out for like a handshake because I think that's what humans do.
Mm-hmm.
I put my hand out for a handshake, and I wait for him to reciprocate.
Yep, he'll shake your hand.
All right, give him like a good sturdy handshake and thank him, and put the axe on my. So now I have like 2 axes.
I guess 2 great axes apparently. Yeah. Yep. Awesome. So and then you head back out of the shop. We'll pull our attention over to Addo. Is there anything else that you needed to? I suppose there was nothing else. I just wanted to give you that bit of information. There was something we needed to go over with that, right?
I mean, I don't know if there's any particulars I'm going to be quizzed on later, but no, I think
there's always a test at the end of every episode. You know,
that's what I figured. Yes.
No quizzing.
There was one last week, man. Out of nowhere, fucking pop quiz at the end of the 3rd hour. I got put on the spot.
No, it was actually the beginning of this session when I was like, "Hey, recap last week," and you were like, "I wasn't here last week." So the one big sum up, is that you can have your theoretically you could have your loot repaired, just to remind you what was said last week. And now we're going to pull our attention back over to Thonk, walking into Rye's room.
Okay. I walk in. It's late. I assume it's pretty late. I aim to come kind of late at night. Are there guards around? Do they care that I'm in?
There is, now that she's awake, there's 1 guard that stays outside the room, no guards that stay inside the room anymore.
Okay.
And they do not care that you're there.
All right, cool. Yeah, so I walk in, and are you sleeping, Rye?
No.
Okay. So I'll look you. I'll walk in. I'll look at you, and I'll ask, can you walk?
The room's like dimly lit by candlelight. Rye's like, let's find out. And puts her feet down on the floor off the bed. I attempts to stand up.
Does she stand up?
Oh, yep. My apologies. Yes, she does stand up. Yeah. It's again, same thing. It's not as bad as before. It's more close to like, when you've been sitting on the john for too long and your legs are asleep. So it's like pins and needles running up and down to almost to your waist. And, but you can get up. Yeah.
Right, performs like an over-the-top bow.
Almost toppling over the top. No.
Almost toppling, yeah. Staggers slightly, and then stands back up.
I don't really give you like a look of any sort. I just look pretty stoic. I'll point to your gear, and I'll say, gather your things and meet me out in the hall.
All right. Rye kind of like shuffles over to the wardrobe, the cabinet, and grabs her stuff. Do I have like clothes about in the room?
Everything that was your possessions are inside this room. Yes, everything's there. So it's a nice room. So there's actually like an armoire or whatever wardrobe is over there. And so not only are there your belongings here, but there are other belongings as well in case you need to like put on a dress or whatever. And then the time being. So the clothing that you're wearing right now was not your original clothes that you were wearing when you passed out. You were taken care of by the physicians. So.
All right. Well, I just put on what's at hand. Grab my cloak. The sword feels very heavy. I pick the sword up, and Rai kind of like struggles with it a little bit. Straps it on. Shuffles out into the hall.
I'm waiting. I'm leaning up against a wall. As soon as you step out, I push myself up the wall. I gesture for you to follow, and I walk down the hall. Is the guy's room in the same hall? Like, are we just am I not going too far? I'm assuming.
Yeah, you're not going too far at all. It's just down the hall a little bit. His room does have a guard standing outside of it and 3 guards inside of it, per your request.
Okay.
And
I'll walk up.
all those guards are orcish. All the guards in this that are guarding this area are orcish. Again, per your request, because these are the ones that you kind of like were like, no, these guards will do it right.
Yeah. So when I approach the door, I'll look to the one guard outside and in orcish tell him that he's dismissed. Like,
Okay.
usher him away.
So he just okay, and walks away. I mean, they're not like super trained soldiers, but he's like, oh, okay. And
Yeah, I
then-
just want him to go away. Just like leave.
And when you open the door, you say that to the other three inside as well. Okay, and they all go walking out. One of them, he seems to be a bit more keen than the others. Does say, "Do you like want me to wait there?" And gestures like just outside the door.
No, you can go.
Okay. And he leaves.
Okay. I'll walk in, and I'm assuming you're not far behind, Rye.
Rye's been running her hand along the wall as she's walking, mainly because she hasn't stand up for so long that the dizziness
Yeah.
in full force. But yeah, she's right behind you.
Okay. I'll walk as soon as you walk in. I'll shut the door. I'm assuming there's a lock. I'm gonna lock it, and I'm gonna kind of just turn around. This guy, is he tied up?
I mean, not really. Like they have, so there's manacles on one of his legs to the bed itself, but his other three limbs aren't manacled down,
Okay.
or anything like that. And he, as you guys are walking in, like there's enough commotion, he seems to stir, like kind of come to, because it is nighttime, and he looks around and sees that it's different people inside the room.
I don't
And
give
then
him
he
I don't
starts-
give him a chance. I'm gonna stop you because I want to interrupt him. Whatever he's doing, I'm gonna walk over to him and grab him by the wrist and just like lift his arm a little bit and just try and snap his wrist to the best of my ability.
Like just straight up break his wrist.
Yeah.
Like you're a douche.
Yeah. No shit.
So I suppose a strength check.
Sure.
to straight break
Just-
his wrist, but you can roll with advantage.
I can step on it. I can just put it on the ground and step
This
on
guy's
it.
feeble and everything. You can roll with advantage.
My strength isn't great, but it's a +1 at least. Here. Hey, a whopping 6. That's why.
So,
Peter
you're
got
able to-
Gromin. He's all about intimidation, man.
Oh, I know, but I've got plans.
you aren't able to successfully break his wrist, but you are able to grab it and bend it back, and you can like the strain has brought him like clearly have his attention now.
Yeah, and I'll look over to you, Rye, as I'm like holding his wrist there, keeping him in pain, and go, "Do you recognize this man?"
Do I recognize this man?
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, this guy is the guy that knocked you out. This is the one that you chased into the basement and defeated you in combat.
I look at Thonk and just nod.
Okay, I'll drop his wrist, and I'll step back a little bit. Not really gonna pressure him anymore, and I'll look to Rye and I say, "I kept him for questioning. Anything you want to know?"
Rye just shakes her head.
I'll look back to
One thing
him.
she remembers is like looking around and seeing like all the people that were butchered, and so
Yeah.
like, it's just like that's all she can remember. From this guy's death.
Yeah, that's fine. And I'll kind of gesture to him, the man who tried to kill you and the man who used your life to bargain for our friends. This is.
Whoa! No!
I'll kick him in the gut.
kill-
Like, just kick him in the gut to take the wind out of him.
Well, I mean, you're quite flexible. He's up on a bench.
Oh, well, I'll take him off the bed, put him on the
Yeah.
floor.
So you just kind of like throw him on the floor and kick him in the gut. He's like, oh, you know. Go ahead.
I'll give him a minute to catch his breath, and then just take a breath and look at him. And more or less, I'm here to verify some information out of him. But I want Rye in case she has any questions, and obviously the one who he attempted to murder and used. I'll look to him and say, Who do you work for?"
I think you already know that.
I'll kick him.
You killed him yourself.
Name. Oh, right. Scott doesn't remember the name of the NPC.
So NPC I forgot it so far.
I forgot.
Why
I
is this
forgot.
NPC being so evasive? Oh wait.
Because of the B. That's so funny.
What were your the other thing I want to know?
Thanks, Mike.
Sorry, we'll just assume he says the name.
Yeah.
What were your intentions with my friend? You kept her alive. Why?
He with that is actually with that make me a perception for me really quickly.
Both of us are just.
Oh shit!
Both of
Hang
you is
on.
fine. Both of you is fine.
Huh?
Both of you is fine.
Yeah, I'm gonna. My 7 technically is the real one. I rolled with advantage, so there you go. But Rye's got a 20, so that's good.
Yeah, you don't need to take the 7. You can roll without advantage and take whatever it says.
Okay, sure. 14.
There you go. So, Rye, you notice that his face, it's kind of subtle because things are happening quick, and it's dark in here, but you're not using like dark vision because there is enough light in here that you can see with, you know. But his face gets a little flush as he answers, and he says, there's a reward on her. There's a reward for turning her in. She's worth money.
I'll actually just look to Rye at that and see if she says anything.
I mean, right nods. There is a reward.
I'll look back to him. What's the reward?
Makes sense.
It's for a considerable amount of gold,
How much?
like 400-500 gold.
Who's collecting this?
I intended to collect it.
Who, rather, or should I say, who would be collecting Rye is more what I was getting at. Who's offering the reward?
Oh, you're supposed to turn her into the city guard at Vassant, but some family is cross with her, and they are paying the money for it.
Again, I look to Ryan to see if you acknowledge that this is true.
Right nods. It's true.
I don't look like I care, by the way. This don't look like I give a shit.
Rye's like arms folded. She's like leaning on the wall by the door. She just
And
nods
again-
in the dim light.
He is still flush. His face is still flush as he's answering these questions.
I don't notice that, though.
I mean, with as much time's happening as you continue the line of questioning, I would say you do start to notice it, yeah.
So flush meaning like he's worried answering these questions kind of
Like
thing?
his face is turning red.
Oh. What would that, like, why is your face red? Like, I'm curious how I would, like, approach that particular question.
Why is your face red?
Like, what would that,
Are
like,
you drunk right now, me?
what would that indicate? Like, embarrassment? Like, worry? I don't know what I would take away from that knowledge.
Well, I suppose an insight check for me to give you some
All right, I'll see if I can get an insight out of you. Good thing I'm a very wise character.
It seems to end. Wow,
There you
damn.
go. Beautiful.
Right, Jesus.
That's your only 20s for the whole...
No, the new Rye is reborn. I'm gonna roll so much. You don't even know.
Weren't you on vacation with the person that like made Roll20? Like,
Yeah.
Oh, it makes sense.
so did you like have a drinking party?
I might have been drinking whiskey in a hot tub with as a Roll20, but that has nothing to do with my 2 rolls.
Yeah,
being
sure. No,
this show.
no, of course not. No. Wow.
2 crits in a row, and those are like true crits.
And they're his first roll since he came back.
As I was saying, a natural crit 20 on insight here, so.
I'm just saying foul play on my natural crit 20. Okay?
Rise OP, boys.
So anyways, so both of you guys, it seems to indicate embarrassment.
So he's embarrassed that he... Okay, strange.
Actually, I'll even give you one step further with as high as both of you rolled. Seems to indicate embarrassment, and he seems to be like trying not to look at Rye, like avoiding looking at Rye with his embarrassment.
Okay. I mean, with that, I'll just press him on it. What is it about looking at my companion that worries you?
And like, oh crap, he noticed, sort of a thing. He's like, well, and he's like,
I take a step, like an aggressive step forward.
I was going to offer for her, pointedly not looking at her, to not get turned in and instead come to Tel Flam with me.
What?
He wants you.
What the fuck?
I'm not... Thonk isn't laughing. He just doesn't look like he cares, but...
And then with that, like, because he's just so embarrassed, he kind of like fumbling over his words, turns to her and he's like, the posters don't do you justice.
Oh my god. What? Oh, Thonk just turns to Rye.
Rye just leaves the room and shuts the door.
Oh no, you gotta come back.
Right attempts to leave the room. And coerce back in.
Yeah, no, the door's locked anyway, so you're fiddling with the lock as I like just to
I
unlock
just shake
it.
the handle and nothing happens. I'm like,
I look to you and I ask very plainly, is there anything else you want to know?
Rye just is in disbelief, so she doesn't actually believe this guy. She just shakes her head.
So I put my hand on your shoulder like to turn you away from the door, and I gesture. This man knows where you are. He knows your name. He knows the bounty on your head. He attempted to kill you, and he slaughtered all those people in the basement. I don't... and I kind of like just look to you, and I look to him. What do you think should be done with him?
He's like, so he's at this point. He's like, I
kick. I'll cast command on him and say silence.
Okay.
Also, I think we should roll for hotness.
Roll for hotness. Rye clearly wins.
Roll for game.
Yeah, how hot is he? Yeah, you got a rough hotness.
Yeah, no,
This
for real.
might influence my decision of letting him live.
Yeah.
Sam, I know that you were unconscious before, but his jaw was shattered by Mathis's foot. Actually, I'm being kind in role playing, being able to understand him because his responses are more like, "Oh, she's just so damn good looking." Like he actually broke this guy's jaw before and broke his leg before, and now just tried to break his wrist and kicked him in the belly a few times. So he's looking terrible.
And on top of that, he apparently wanted to steal you away and make sweet love to you.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, okay.
Well, that's my third crit in a row.
I'm just saying. Call a spade a spade.
During this conversation, Rye has been picking the lock of the door.
Oh, the lock's on the inside. I was just trying to stop you from leaving.
Oh,
Yes. So
cool.
he very quickly just goes.
She definitely picks the lock from behind because she knows that Thonk's just gonna kill this guy.
I'm asking you what you think you should be done with him.
Rye realizes her opinion is probably void on this subject anyway, and she just can't be bothered to kill this guy. So she kind of like slides the door open behind her, and she goes, "You know best," and just like hobbles out into the hall and like makes her way back to her room.
Oh, you
One
ran.
more time. Do you try to stop her?
I will try, but I mean, she's faster than I am.
And I got 3 crits. You can't touch this.
Yeah, apparently.
That's me. 3 in a row.
Yeah, I mean,
What are the
insane.
odds? What are the actual odds?
I don't
of
even know.
3
It's
20s in a
because
row.
All the fails before. They're all
Three
catching
nat-
up to
three
me.
nat-
Listen,
20s,
in accordance to 3.0 rules, if you're a peasant with a fork, you kill a dragon. So
Yeah.
it doesn't really matter. 320s, baby.
Gromin's killed the dragon.
Yes, he has.
Yeah, of course.
So I mean, I'll
There's
attempt
no
to stop her,
grumbling, you know.
but it's not like I'm fighting to stop her. You know what I mean? I don't want to look like he's scrambling. Like, no, you can't. Like, if she's gone, she's fucking gone.
Well, I didn't know if you were like trying to be one more like stern tone, like right.
Yeah.
back.
Basically, that's
Like
the
a
most
father's
effort you'll
time.
get out of him is like, Rye.
Rye just waves it off and like
Yeah, I figure.
just walks back up the hall.
All right, I will. With Rye leaving, I'll shake my head, and then
And fade
close.
to black.
Then close the door, and you see is Thonk reaching for his crooked dagger as he takes one step towards him, and you can assume what's about to happen.
Oh man. Do I have to describe it this time?
No, I mean you can just imagine like camera angles, right, like waist
yeah,
high,
yeah.
one step forward as he's like scrambling to the corner as I'm pulling for my crooked dagger.
Absolutely. Okay. So you go and you finish off that guy.
Yeah, he's done.
All the medical expertise and supplies, wasted on him.
No, not my medical supplies. I don't give a shit.
Yeah. So you go in there and you kill him in whatever way that you do, but it's very
Yep.
obvious that you killed him.
Yeah.
And you leave the room and just shut it behind you, maybe wiping your dagger on his shirt first.
Yep.
And you will.
I go back to my room and it's wait till morning. Yeah.
Yep. Next morning, and you guys are up now, and now it has been since you met with what's his name about 2 days. So you know that you want to get back to Fasant to do what it is that you need to do. So going back to Rye again for 1 second, the next morning you wake up, and are you weak? Yes, but you're not like pathetic by any means. You can certainly walk around the castle. You can certainly sit on a horse if need be to travel. You just don't have your full strength back to you yet. To put it in mechanical terms, you are currently sitting at like an exhaustion of 2 points.
I was going to say 2 points of exhaustion. Yeah.
Exactly. So, but you were able to go about doing things. So the next morning you wake up and that's where you're feeling. Everybody else kind of like comes in or whatever, and you guys can kind of meet, whether it be the courtyard, sitting around eating, whatever it is you're doing. You can all meet. But when you do meet, one of the things that you're going to notice is either A, Rye is up and moving about. B, you've heard news that the guy got killed, and based off the description, you can figure out who it was. And C, Robin has a new axe. Like this
And
big.
Gromin actually has one of the rooms down in the basement. He's set up to be like their tactical room.
Fight Club.
So it has like a table, like a long table with like enough seats for each of them to sit down, and like a map in the center.
Is this going to be that room that was originally a mess hall that has like the murals around it and everything?
Oh yeah, that would actually work perfect, I think.
Awesome. They already have people in there starting to sketch the outlines of where it is that the next mural is going to go for the Battle of Black Hill for what it is that you guys did. So there's no artist actually starting the work yet, but they're starting to like pick out the areas and whatnot and get it prepared. So put like the baseline work on the stone. So you guys are there. I'm assuming this, what you're doing is not a secret. So they're going to keep doing their thing down their end of the hall. You're down your end. It's just the 4 of you sitting around. Servants will gladly bring you food. There's actually a kitchen down here anyways. And they take care of you. Go ahead.
Right sits down. She's got like that hungover teen look. She immediately like notices Gromin's axe, and she reaches for some food, and she's like, "Oh, guess we got paid."
Gromin immediately looks at Addo.
Otto just nods. Yep. And just grabs some food, shoves it in his mouth.
Thonk shakes his head. Because you're a thief, you didn't get paid. It's very simple.
Rai looks at Addo.
You said because you took the sword, you don't get your money.
I tried. I told him to give us more.
You were a thief too. She points at Addo.
Oh, okay.
What?
I didn't dare you. It's still got a mouthful of food.
Yeah.
Rai checks her pack. Is the nugget still in the pack? Cool. Rai just pulls it out and she grins. She's like, "Well, guess I did get paid after all."
Gromin's like jaw drops when he sees the giant nugget, and then he like goes to touch it. I just wanted to touch it.
Rai lets him touch it.
Okay, then he touches it to see. Does it seem like it's real?
You have to
Yeah.
bite it.
Seems like a large hunk of gold. Yeah. It's heavy.
Looks legit. Gromin's like looks legit.
Yeah. Awesome. So we are about to go to our 1 hour break. So before we do that, did you guys want to sum up this bit of conversation of what you're doing next? Or
Do we know where we're going? Like, or
I mean, I have no idea. So
you were told that the inn that you're going to, sorry, the tavern that you're going to is owned by the the Shadow Masters. That the actual tavern is adjacent to the home of Tipret Prince Clavar. That was the woman that was ousted as a Shadow Lord.
Oh yeah.
And also the Shadow Lords to them. She was ousted as stealing from them, which wasn't true. You guys just kind of murked things up so it looked that way. So it's the tavern immediately adjacent to her. Remember, she was kind of like a, yeah, I'm just rich because I'm rich kind of a person. I was describing her as being like a Paris Hilton. But she was adjacent to this tavern where she often spent her time. But that was because she was like leading up stuff from within this tavern itself. You know that the location of like their base of operations is on the second floor of this tavern. So like all the information is there with you. You know that Zavris was the one that had survived, and Zara, sorry, is the one that had survived, and that he will be there, and you want to take care of him immediately. But sadly, there were a few that got away from Black Hill itself. You guys didn't find everybody and kill everybody, so he won't be alone. There will be others there as well. So kind of like as you approach, and keep your eyes peeled, come with a way of handling the situation. And lastly, you know that Forston is currently in the custody of the Seven Swords, and by finishing this job, it will make it so that Ashram is able to go and pay the dues to get him released, Forston released, which you guys do have some sympathies for Forston. He's never screwed you over in any way. Seemingly at one point, but never did.
Yeah. All right. Well, we'll get back to that. We're going to take a quick 5 or so minute break. We will be back with hour 2 in just a little bit. Don't go anywhere.